Lulu Spencer, portrayed by Julie Berman and Emme Rylan, is a fictionalized character in the longest-running daytime series on U.S. television called General Hospital. Having been the daughter of one of the most iconic couples in the show, her journey had been followed by many fans, especially since she's been exposed to danger from the day she was born because her parents were on the run from the mob. Her life was filled with unbelievable twists and turns that left the audience in shock, but quite entertained. ABC TV launched General Hospital on the 1st of April 1963, and it became the network's longest-running daytime drama. It featured the lives of people in a hospital in the fictional small to mid-sized town of Port Charles in upstate New York. Initially, the story focused on Chief of Internal Medicine, Dr. Steve Hardy, Nurse Jessie Brewer, and Flight Attendant Audrey Hardy. By 1970, the show was on the verge of being axed when ABC higher-ups hired executive producer Gloria Monty to turn things around within 13 weeks, which she did. She was the one responsible for the increased pacing of the show, which made the audience happy, and for the creation of what fans called the super couple, Luke Spencer and Laura Weber. It became the most popular story in the history of daytime series. During the ensuing years, the ratings fell each time popular characters were written out, but they would eventually go up the moment the audience fell in love with the new faces. It was an ongoing cycle for the soap opera that celebrated its 50th anniversary in 2013 and aired its 15,000th episode in 2022. Lulu first appeared in General Hospital on the 8th of August 1994 and was last seen on the show on the 1st of December 2020, having gone through so much as a baby, as a teen, and as an adult. Some events were due to being the daughter of Luke and Laura Spencer, and some were the consequences of her wrong decisions in life. Here are some of the highlights of her journey in the daytime series. Lulu's full name was Leslie Lou Spencer, named after Dr. Leslie Weber, her maternal grandmother. Her mother Laura used Lou as an alias when she and her husband Luke were on the run from the mob. While her parents went through a chaotic journey in their lives, she was conceived during one of the happiest times in their marriage, around the time they settled down in Port Charles, after being on the run for more than a decade. Her parents were originally foes when they were teenagers, and Luke, who worked for a mob boss, was supposed to be in cahoots with his sister Bobby in exacting revenge on Laura just because she was romantically involved with the man whom her Aunt Bobby wanted for herself. When Laura married Scott and worked at a nightclub managed by Luke, it didn't take long for Luke to fall in love with her. When he received a hit order for a certain politician from his boss, he didn't want to do it, but knew he had no choice. As he was confused, distraught, and drunk one night, Luke raped Laura. She told everyone she was raped, but never named the perpetrator. Later on, when things went ugly with her relationship with her husband, she fell in love with Luke. Lulu's parents were married on the 16th of November 1981, the start of the journey of one of the most iconic couples from General Hospital. Danger had always been near their family, due to her parents' close association with the local mob. There was even a time when Lulu and her mother left town to escape the eyes of a rival gang. Her mother gave premature birth to her as a direct result of trying to get away from people who tried to kidnap her. Lulu was diagnosed with aplastic anemia, which was a serious medical condition that limited the body's production of new blood cells. The only way to cure it was to have a bone marrow transplant, and this was the reason that her mother finally revealed to Luke that she had another child named Nicholas Cassadine. He was born when Laura was kidnapped by a lunatic named Stavros Cassadine, who was quite obsessed with her. Nicholas agreed to the bone marrow transplant, which saved Lulu, but led to the end of her parents' marriage. Lulu was first raised by her mother alone after the divorce. However, Laura had a psychological breakdown that led to a chaotic state in which she remembered the time she supposedly killed her stepfather and his mistress when she was still a teen. Luke was an absentee father, so it was Lulu's grandmother who took care of her. Her old grandmother couldn't handle Lulu when she reached her teenage years. She was then given to her father, who by that time had remarried and lived with him in her stepmother's mansion. Given their history, she was angry at her father and started a life of lies, petty theft, and even caused the breakup of her stepbrother's marriage. She slept with her stepbrother, Dylan Quartermain, and became pregnant, but due to several complications, she aborted the baby. After about 5 years, her mother woke up briefly from the coma, and Lulu shared what happened to her, including the abortion. Lulu said she didn't want to bring into the world a baby who wasn't loved or wanted, just like she had been. But her mother reassured her that she was loved. Before her mother fell into a coma again, Laura told her that she firmly believed that she wasn't responsible for the death of her stepfather. When Lulu returned to Port Charles, she quickly integrated herself with the mob community, most especially with mob boss Sonny Corinthos and Jason Morgan. She helped them with some of their issues, and at the same time investigated the death of Rick Weber. Eventually, it was revealed that it was Scott Baldwin, Laura's first husband, who killed Rick. She kept the information for fear that her father would take revenge and, in turn, destroy his peaceful life. General Hospital fans quickly noticed that Lulu was very much like her mother in respect of attracting interest from opposite sex. Sometimes, her decisions in life mirrored what had happened to Laura. When Lulu entered the Quartermain mansion, she was involved with her stepbrother Dylan. Then, when it ended badly, she moved on with Damian Spinelli. He was a computer hacker who helped her prove her mother's innocence by looking for leads for the killer of Rick Weber. He shared many adventures with Lulu, including being kidnapped by Lorenzo Alcazar, a wanted international arms dealer. He eventually fell for her and pursued her. However, she rejected both him and Milo Giambetti, whom she went out with on one date. One of the first serious relationships that Lulu had was with Logan Hayes, whom she found out later was the son of Scott Baldwin. Logan came to Port Charles to look for an old military buddy. They started dating, and everything seemed great, but he made a monumental mistake. He cheated on her with Maxie Jones, who was the sister of Dylan's wife. It was an act of revenge against Lulu because she was the cause of the breakup of her sister's marriage. Logan was devastated when Lulu ended their relationship and couldn't move on, trying several times to persuade her to accept him back. During one of their confrontations, she accidentally stabbed him, from which he eventually died. Sometime after Lulu's breakup from Logan, she started dating Johnny Zaccara, whose grandfather was one of the mob bosses, Anthony Zaccara. Lulu's life was endangered even more due to the complication of her association with Sonny Corinthos' mob organization, as it was Zacara's ultimate rival. The danger level intensified when Johnny took the reins of the organization after his grandfather was paralyzed. Their lives eventually became estranged when she and Johnny were on the run after she'd accidentally killed Logan. When they returned to Port Charles, Johnny voluntarily took the blame for it, but was later acquitted. When Dante Falconeri first appeared in Port Charles, he was called Dominic Pirelli and was part of the Zaccara organization. But in reality, he was an undercover cop. His main purpose was to obtain more information and infiltrate the Corinthos mob to take down the head of the family, Sonny Corinthos. Lulu met him while she was trapped in a water-filled basement of an old home of the Zaccara family. While he saved her from being drowned, he also informed her who he really was, and they started dating. Fearing for his life, Lulu tried to convince him to stop his investigation because he might end up dead. Dante saved her once again when she was kidnapped and strapped with a bomb, but decided to end their relationship as the situation became more dangerous for her. She just called him a coward. When Sonny realized Dante was an undercover detective, he shot him, but then found out he was his biological son. Lulu declared her love for Dante as he was wheeled to the operating theater for surgery. The couple went through many ups and downs, but eventually, love conquered all, and they married in December 2011. Sometime after their marriage, she and Dante were happy to find out she was pregnant, but she had an early miscarriage. The couple did their best to conceive again, but someone mixed a poisonous chemical into the town's water supply, infecting many people, including Lulu and Dante. They were injected with a counteragent which saved them, but they learned from doctors that she was now unable to carry a child. Lulu convinced Maxie Jones, who became her friend after they'd fought for quite some time, to be the surrogate mother. When Maxie became pregnant, the family celebrated the first sonogram photo of the baby, but during the celebration, they received a stuffed toy. Something went off inside the toy, rendering Lulu unconscious, and then she went missing. Dante, with Lulu's parents, found her unconscious inside a cryogenic chamber on Cassadine Island. Apparently, Stavros Cassadine, who was obsessed with Laura, saw Lulu in turnkey and immediately thought it was the young Laura, even calling her the Ice Princess. The chamber was supposed to maintain her youth permanently. When they took her out of the chamber, they found that she'd suffered from amnesia and was even brainwashed, now believing that her husband was Stavros. Lulu agreed to return to Port Charles only because she couldn't find her husband. She forgot all about the surrogacy and that Maxie was pregnant with her baby. Dante helped her regain her memory by letting her talk about her life with Stavros on the island. Apparently, she was forced by Stavros to marry, even though it was illegal. When it was time for the consummation of the marriage, she refused and so was placed inside the cryogenic chamber. After her memory returned, She immediately asked about Maxie's condition and was happy that the baby and the surrogate mother were both fine. However, she sensed that Maxie was becoming too attached to the baby. For a time, her friend didn't want to give up the baby, believing it was hers, but later on was convinced that it was Lulu and Dante's child. The new parents planned the christening of their baby, whom they named Connie in tribute to Lulu's former employer and Dante's aunt, who had recently died. However, it was revealed that Connie was not their biological child. Maxie and Damien Spinelli were Connie's real parents. Maxie then told them that she'd miscarried their baby, and right after it happened, she became pregnant again with Damien's child. There was a custody battle for Connie, and the court declared that the child be given to her biological parents. The ruling devastated Lulu and Dante. Damien changed the baby's name from Connie to Georgie and left Port Charles. The result of the custody battle strained the couple's relationship because Lulu blamed Dante for their loss. Lulu planned to destroy Maxie's reputation so that she could be declared an unfit parent, but Dante didn't want to lie under oath, realizing that it wasn't fair to the baby. Their marriage suffered, especially when they learned that they couldn't have a baby since she couldn't produce eggs anymore. However, they found out that she and Dante had another baby. Lulu's brother Nicholas had a new girlfriend named Britt Westbourne. When the two met, she was already pregnant, but the father of the baby, Patrick Drake, didn't want anything to do with her. Despite the situation she was in, Nicholas fell in love with her. The baby, whom they named Ben, was revealed to be the product of Britt's machination when she tried to entrap Patrick into marriage. It turned out that Britt stole one of Lulu and Dante's embryos to become pregnant. A lot of things happened after Lulu had her first child, and there was even a time when she and Dante grew distant from each other, at one point even having their divorce papers on hand, but they never went through with it, as they were reminded of their past. Eventually, they recommitted to the relationship and remarried in 2016 during Thanksgiving. She later found out that she had another daughter named Charlotte with Valentin Cassadine, which was orchestrated by Helena Cassadine, the mother of Stavros. Initially, mother and daughter had a hard time accepting the situation, but later on bonded together. Dante went undercover once again, as he was in danger, but by the time he was rescued by Sonny in Turkey, he wasn't the same anymore. He left Lulu again for fear that he might hurt them due to the effects of his undercover mission, and was gone for quite some time. While Lulu moved on with her life, she started dating again with a new guy, Dustin. When Dustin was about to ask her to marry him, a bomb exploded and killed him, but Lulu was surprisingly okay. On the day she decided to get back with Dante, she collapsed, and the doctor said she suffered a brain injury when the bomb exploded. Lulu needed surgery and went into a coma. Her family decided that the best way for her condition was to send her to a long-term care hospice. So what's next in the ongoing saga of Lulu and General Hospital? No doubt you will tune in to discover what new machinations occur in the longest-running show on US TV. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.